Hi, Martel, Therese Walker, AP. You get some new teammates in. With you being a guy who's been here, do you take it on you to, help make sure they adapt quickly and settle in so that they can help produce on the field?
As an older guy in the program, like I do, I take a little bit of responsibility to that. But overall, it's a team effort thing, and Coach Lee always preach on to relatedness is our edge, and true brotherhood is like, one of our prime and main things here. So, the whole team gets together. We, try to go out to eat, go talk golf, like just how to, connect with each other and like, get to know each other a little bit more on a deeper level than just football. So,
That more important than ever in this day and age of the portal?
correct.
We'll go in the back to Charles.
Martel, how's the spring been for you personally, and where have you seen some of your biggest growth from just the end of last season to now?
Like I just said, as an older guy who's been in the program, a little bit more than others, I got to step up in the corner room as a leader, and so I've been trying to fill that leadership role. I still got stuff to work on, but I've been trying to, and then also in my press work, I've been trying to work on my feet at the press point, and yeah.
Graham.
Sorry, that was my question.
Charles.
Um, you all had a ton of energy this spring on the back end, on the edges of defense. Talk about that energy and just what you all are looking to bring to the SEC this season, because I'm seeing a lot of good mojo back there.
Well, first of all, I want to give a shout out to Moose, Mustafa Danette. That's the guy, that's our energy guy. He's the one that brings it every single day. Without Moose, I don't know if that energy will always be there. It probably gained up there a little bit, but a big shout out to Moose. But like I just said, true brotherhood and relatedness, and that's what it really all starts with. You see your brother doing something, you go and celebrate with your brother, and that's kind of like how that energy is getting renewed every play and throughout the spring ball.
Up here to Tom.
Hey, Martel, obviously you guys offensively they're in a big quarterback competition. Can you talk about what your thoughts on the quarterback play so far? And then it looks like Jared as a corner, like he seems to be able to throw in a really tight window. How frustrating is it when like you guys have had some great pressure on him or great defense, but he seems to be able to hit that small window.
Competition is a good thing, and that should be in every room because you should want somebody to try to outbeat you. If that's the case, then you got a good team. Because if you're not competing for a spot, then there's no point of even having a good team. But I love both our quarterbacks. They're kind of similar, but tad bit differences in play style. But Jared came in. He is throwing the ball pretty well. He has an arm on him, and Blaze is just a playmaker. So we'll just see how that goes. I love both those guys though.
Charles.
I know you as a cornerback, you get to face these guys in practice. Junior Sherrill's been here, but a new guy and Cole Adams to the program. What have you seen from him particularly this spring?
Cole is a real good gadget guy, and also like he's low key starting to pick up the little role in the receiver room as a leader as well. He's still learning some things. When you're new to a program, you gotta like pick up on new things. But those guys, they bring it every day. They're blocking like no other. Like that's big. That's improvement. And then he has good hands and he knows how to get open in available spaces.
Corey.
Speaking of new players, Walter Taylor being new to the tight end position, what have y'all noticed from a defensive perspective about how his progression has gone? What kind of weapon he can be for the offense, and what fits does he give you guys from a defensive perspective?
I wouldn't consider Walt new, but welcome back. Welcome back, Walt. He was here as a quarterback, and him, taking on that new role, it's some new things you got to learn. It's a little bit of different, physicality, but Walt has been, doing his thing. He's coming off, he's blocking way better. He's catching a ton of balls, So I feel like Walt will be a big factor in our offense, and with his size, it's just, it's crazy. So. Looking forward to seeing that.
Last question to Graham.
Yeah, Coach Lee talked about sort of the pressure that the defense has brought, especially today. Just, I guess, thinking bigger picture, going, looking forward to the fall and then into the season, just how big of a, factor does the defensive pressure go into play in this?
You got to send the house at the quarterback. You got to, get them a little tensed up, bring some pressure at them, and, that'll just shock them a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see.